Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm right in my hands. This is The Walking Dead Deluxe number 78, written by Robert Kirkman, art by Charlie Adlard, color by Dave McCaig, lettering by Rus Wooton. So this series has been interesting. For those who don't know, Walking Dead Deluxe is kind of a reprint of the original. But it's done in color, so a little bit different. And then there is notes in the back called Cutting Room Floor, going over Robert Kirkman's original notes about the issues, and he kind of discusses what changed or his thoughts about stuff ever since then. And it's been pretty honest. I actually really enjoy it. So the series is in Alexandria at this point. Rick has been up and down, a little bumpy so far. The leadership there is not, or a lot of people there aren't necessarily like really trusting him. He's clearly having some mental issues. And this issue sees some threats show up in the human form, in which case we really see where Rick comes alive. It's an interesting issue, and where we saw before with the previous arc with the cannibals, of Rick and his crew, of like just how brutal they could be. This one, I think, is really showing off of how like capable and how much they've come together to like they really have their shit together. It's an interesting issue, especially kind of where it's ends up. Like up to this point, Rick is clear like he doesn't want to lead anymore. It's always been something that he's had issues with. He always just kind of winds up being the leader. It's not something he like strives to be, which is usually actually a good sign of a leader. So this one, I'm gonna leave it for people who haven't read it yet. But I think where it winds up and ends up is really intriguing. And honestly, I kind of remember where things are going, but it's been such a long time for me reading it. It's been an interesting series. You know, I've said in a lot of reviews so far is like, you know, when this came out, it was a totally different world. You know, we had economic issues. We were worried about terrorism. Now people are worried about economics. We can argue about whether or not there's an actual issue. And it's now COVID and health issues is kind of the big thing, and just general like unease. So reading this now, like the context of it is very, very different, and I think it's kind of fascinating to see Rick stepping up as a leader, and it's in a society that is part of it's in denial, part of it is very jaded. He is the one that kind of stands up and takes over. And I think there's something to say about how the jaded one, the one maybe more grounded in a little bit of reality, is pushed forward in a lot of ways, and also proven right. So I think it's intriguing. It's really, really intriguing. I think there's probably a lot to be said and a lot to be written when it comes to the context of the series and maybe what it's saying pre and post. It's 2 runs. So yeah, very, very fascinating issue. The art is actually really intriguing, and this is the first one I think that the color really matters. And Kirkman brings it up too, and it's something that kind of stuck out to me. Like the series as a whole has done an excellent job. Like the art is I want to say like on auto drive at this point, but like it just does a solid bit of what it's doing. It doesn't really change much, and just it works really well. But this is the interesting thing. This is colorized. There is a red dot on Rick's shirt. The red dot is clear. We know what the red dot is for a lot of us visually. And it means, there's a sniper and there's a gun on Rick. Now, think about how that would come off in black and white. Maybe it doesn't hit quite as much as it does here. It's still subtle in a lot of ways, but, it's much more present. So I think this is really kind of a perfect example where like color does have an impact on storytelling. It's a fascinating thing. Like up to this point, I'm more worried about the color maybe making things like too gross, too violent, like making that a little over top. But here's a perfect example of where it actually helps tell the story a little bit more and adds a little bit more tension. So it's kind of intriguing. So yeah, I mean, as always I say, if you've never read the series, this is a great way to go about it. If you read the series and want to do it again, fantastic way to go about it. There's a little bit extra new for longtime fans, and then of course it's all colored, so that's new and different. You can go get it. It is out in shops now. We got a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code to tell the comic shops near you. No shop, no problem. We do have some links where you can purchase your own. There'll be affiliate links, so we do get a small percentage by doing that. You'll support our site. So thank you. And speaking of support, you're just watching us does that, so appreciate that. If you're into comics, check us out every day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, Threads, Blue Sky, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep reading those comics, and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.